I told Jen, like I put together like 10 steps that at least things that I learned as I was going through my path. So I have my little notes here to keep me on track. But I'm really excited to be here today. So thank you for inviting me. And I want to share a little bit about my personal journey and things that I think that, I think sharing our stories can be very powerful to, help us all kind of succeed. I was born in Brazil and I immigrated here in 2001. I barely spoke English at the time, and I came for an internship at one of the fourth biggest architecture firms. And I came to LA. I like to say just a girl, a suitcase, no money, and a dream. And even though I could not afford it, I was lucky to have gotten my master's degree like 2 years later in sustainable development from Harvard. And after working about 14 years in the corporate world, when my second son was born, my company didn't allow telecommuting. I worked for a real estate firm for like almost 10 years. So both me and my husband, we were like both working parents, so we're like, we need help. So we decided to move to San Diego so we could be close to his family. So I was actually commuting from San Diego to LA for a couple months so I could breastfeed my second kid, leaving my 2-year-old behind, and I just realized that's just not sustainable. So so at that point I decided to start my business and just get out my comfort zone where and just create something where I was able to have more flexibility. I was able to also kind of create the company culture that I wanted, that I think was right for women, because I think the corporate world is still we lose so many valuable women because we don't have the conditions that we need. And so it was really scary time. It was also kind of during the recession, and on top of it I was working on my architecture license and raising little kids, so nothing like a life crisis to give you the guts to make bold moves. And since I started Verdani Partners about 6 years ago, I've now built a team of almost 30 people. And my first client was my former employer, who hired me back as a consultant. And we, as I mentioned, we now have 11 real estate firms. So we work internationally with and manage sustainability programs for almost 4,000 properties. We also, a lot of our clients rank among the top 10 on GRES, which is the Global Real Estate Sustainability Benchmark. And most of our growth has been clients recommending us to our peers, which I think is a great validation for us that we're doing something right. I would say, like some of so we have a very fast-growing company, and I'm very lucky to have a lot of working moms on my team, and they happen to be some of my brightest and hardest working and productive team members. My vice president, for example, is it's a working mom and works from home. We allow our team to work from home, to telecommute. We have a very much a flexible, performance-based work culture that offers both paternity and maternity leave. We also pride ourselves for health and well-being programs. We feed our teams organic vegetarian meals every day. And it's very hard to kind of balance the demands of a family and also running a business, which is something that no one asks men how they do. But and it's hard because I think if you have a family, women still disproportionately share the brunt of both housework and also childcare, which makes it hard. And I'd say the worst part is that typically the most important years of your career, when your career is picking up, is also your time where the biological clock's ticking. You want to have children, so it's oh my gosh, this couldn't be the worst time. But make it work. So I wanted to share, through my journey, there's some things I learned, and I definitely associated with some of the things you're saying. So I'm going to keep them short, but my top 10 tips to both growing a business, and I think it's important that we support each other. So I'd say first one is being purpose driven. So it's when you dedicate your business to something that's bigger than yourself, it's easier to get support to help to help grow it. We have a sustainability mission, and we have attracted a lot of passionate people along the way that kind of believes in what we're trying to accomplish, people that want to make a difference and make an impact in society. Just as an example, our first website was built for free by a colleague, and a lot of people just really, when it's important to build and maintain your company culture and make sure that your team understands your long-term vision. And I got a lot of help along the way, which was great. I would agree with you too in terms of building your network and alliances. That's going to be critical because building a business takes a village, and it will take it will take time to build a network, but it's really important to get started. Build your allies, get mentors, mentor people along the way, and it's really important to make sure you don't burn bridges and support each other. You're like helping people and getting helped along the way. That's going to be really important for anyone's career growth. I would say too, as a first step, it's just like getting your own client. And I'd say also surviving the first 3 to 5 years. I'd say those are rough. But you just have to not give up. It feels like when you're starting a small business, you don't have that big support team. I felt like I was being both the maestro and the musician at the same time, and I had to wear so many hats that I wasn't comfortable with. But you just have to kind of get all the help that you can and just pull through. I also like to say that's about sway. Many people talk about work-life balance, and I'm like, don't beat yourself about work-life balance. We as women are expected to run a family as if we don't have a job, and be present at your job as if you don't have a family. We have those totally unrealistic expectations from society. Obviously, your family is gonna always come first. But as I said, it's about sway. Sometimes your family's going to take priority. Sometimes your work's going to take priority. In the beginning, when I was starting a business, I started my business too, and my second kid, he was less than 3 months old. And at the beginning, it just felt like a war zone. I just wanted to get through the day and keep my children alive. So it's just get through the day by day, and just keep making progress. I would say it's also important to use your feminine edge. Use your femininity as a strength. Women are naturally more empathetic. We care. We care deeply about things, and that's not a weakness. We also show to have stronger emotional intelligence, and it's a critical issue for anyone to thrive or to build a successful business is to have strong emotional intelligence. There was also a study that showed that women with more women in their board, they perform 57%, 53% better than companies that did not have as many women on the board. There's a lot of studies that show that companies will perform better if they have more women in leadership positions. It's very important to also navigate gender bias. Being a woman in the workplace can be incredibly challenging. And we often need to work twice as hard as men to get the same opportunities. I've dealt with so much harassment and objectification, so I'm really glad to see women speaking up, with the Me Too movement. But don't let that derail your career. Just keep the end goal in mind. For me, it's a lot easier for me to dress more feminine when I was in a position of power than early days of my career. But I would say just, the important things, just be professional, dress for success, and show up in a powerful way. It's very important to also speak up, get heard, and get on the table. We're very proud to have created this, working environment that supports where our employees are encouraged to speak up, to get heard, and also to contribute in a powerful way. Also, open doors for yourself and for others. Sometimes you keep the door open, and you can't expect people to open doors for you. So it's important to be a champion for other women's successes, and making that part of your company culture is not necessarily easy, but I think that we've covered that, at least with our company. So it's important to not only open doors for yourself, but also keep pulling other women along the way. I would say keep the end game in mind too. Don't worry too much about being qualified, or don't wait, like you instead to have everything perfect. It's amazing how like there's a stat that women wait until they're 100% qualified to apply for a job. They meet all the qualifications, and men, they only need to meet 50% of the qualifications. And they have so much confidence, and I see that with like, you know, even when I'm hiring someone, and then later I'm like, wait, I thought you said you could do this. And like, you know, so it's like crazy. But the thing is like, don't wait until everything's perfect, because it's never gonna be a right time. And also, like, you know, it's not for your career growth, it's not going to be a ladder, it's more like a jungle gym. And, you know, take risks and be persistent. You're going to have a lot of obstacles in your path, but don't give up. Women are usually taught to play safe from very young age, where we're like pushing our, you know, little boys to be adventurous and to take risks. We're all usually like coddling women and protecting them. And the same thing happens, you know, at work. And this can really hurt women and make it hard for women to advance. So, and also undermines our self-confidence. So, and also makes a lot of women apply for lower paying jobs. So don't sell yourself short, you know, really go after your dreams, be persistent. And, you know, we have a lot of opportunities to accomplish amazing things, so we just need to grab it by the horns and go for it. So I just want to close that, you know, I'm very proud to be a mom, to be a business owner, and to be an industry leader, and to also have been able to create a business where I'm empowered to hire women, to create a diverse team that, you know, is connected by our passion of sustainability, and to, you know, create opportunities for both men and women need to succeed, including, like, you know, we offer maternity and paternity leave, and it's important so that we can, you know, both thrive in our careers. And, you know, the world is changing, and it's incredible to see that so many women are leading the charge and creating a lot of positive change in our communities. I'd say, you know, I think we agree with that, but climate change, I'd say, is one of the biggest threats that we face. And it's really important that we work together to create a thriving, sustainable, healthy, and resilient future for everyone. And, you know, it's very sad that women still represent a very small percentage of leadership positions. And we have a lot of progress ahead of us. And like Malala said, we cannot succeed while half of us are held back. Attending a lot of I've been to every single women's march, and also joined a lot of women's group movements in Brazil, especially the past election. And that was very inspiring to me, because, you know, we're really trying to fight for equality, we're fighting to, you know, preserve our natural resources. And, you know, I'd say, like my colleague Jen Pertolot said in her, you know, recent speech, it's really time for women to rise. And our voices must be heard. And we need to speak up and work together, because time's up. And we've had enough. And we're not going to stay in our lane anymore. So it's time for women to lead the way. So keep up the good work. Keep supporting each other. Your work inspires me and so many other people that are working together to also fight climate change, to restore our ecosystems and our humanity, and to create a thriving future for all of us. Thank you.